welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into something I know a lot of you care about. Video game collector's editions. Specifically, the big fuss around the $200 collector's edition for the Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater remake. Okay, let's try and unpack this a bit. I mean, when you shell out that kind of money for a collector's item, you really expect something special, right? Something that feels premium.
Absolutely. You expect it to honor your fandom.
We're going to explore what happens when, well, those expectations just completely clash with what actually arrives in the box.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here is how fast things can turn sour with fans. You know, when the physical stuff doesn't match that high price, it leads to pretty widespread criticism online.
Right.
So our mission, let's say, in this deep dive is to really get into that fan disappointment, but also this bigger disconnect we're seeing sometimes between the value people perceive and the actual product quality, especially with these really hyped up releases.
For the core controversy, the U.S. Collector's Edition, what was the first thing that really set people off?
Well, from what everyone's saying, it seems to be the quality of that included terrarium diorama, and maybe even more so, the little miniature naked snake figurine inside it.
The figure.
Yeah. The general feeling, especially after paying $200, was that these physical bits just didn't feel premium at all, didn't live up to the promise.
I've definitely seen the chatter about that snake figurine.
Yeah.
It seems like that was the biggest lightning rod when you say people calling it, what was it, Temu-esque?
Exactly. Temu-esque, janky, cheap-looking. Those terms popped up a lot on places like Reddit, Games Radar, plus Mess.
For anyone listening who might not know, what does Temu-esque really imply there?
It's basically comparing it to, you know, mass-produced, often very low-cost, sometimes low-quality items you find on those big online discount platforms. It's not a compliment, basically.
Definitely not.
And the specific complaints, they're really focused on, like, low-quality sculpting and paint, just lacking detail, you know? Not the high-fidelity look you'd expect. And maybe worse was the poor likeness. So many fans said it just looked nothing like Naked Snake. I even saw, hilariously, comparisons to Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris. Wow. Okay. That's quite a comparison for Snake. It must have been really off model then.
Oh, absolutely. The face sculpt just seemed very generic, apparently. It lacked those defining features. And then there's the terrarium diorama itself. That was another big source of letdown. The ads showed it with plastic foliage looking kind of integrated, like a little scene.
Right. Suggesting a detailed little environment.
Yeah.
So the marketing looked good, but what did people actually get?
Well, the reality was the pieces weren't attached. You apparently get this bag of loose plastic leaves and some stuff described as just awful imitation moss.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, and folks said it looked way worse in hand than in those shiny promo photos. It just gives that feeling of being, I don't know, shortchanged, like a cheap DIY kit.
Okay, so that was the U.S. version.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets really interesting, right? The contrast with editions sold elsewhere. We're talking about, I think, a more expensive collector's pack in places like Japan and the UK.
Precisely. And that version, well, it's been getting praise, specifically for its high-quality bust of Naked Snake.
A bust, not a full figure.
A bust, yeah. But produced by a company called Figurama Collectors. They're actually renowned, like a proper collectibles company known for really detailed high-end statues.
Okay. So a known quantity in the collector world.
Exactly. They make stuff that's considered, you know, genuine art pieces by collectors, often limited edition, resin, the works.
So connecting this back, that huge difference must have just poured salt in the wound for the U.S. buyers, right?
Yeah.
It's not just that their item felt subpar, but that a clearly superior version existed.
Absolutely. It really cemented that feeling for many U.S. fans that their edition wasn't, let's say, a true collector's item, more like a low-quality thing trading on the game's nostalgia.
While other regions got the premium treatment.
Right. And you have to wonder, is this about production costs, different market expectations? Whatever the reason, it risks damaging that trust with your most loyal fans.
So, looking at the bigger picture then, what does this whole episode mean for dedicated collectors, for the industry? Is this just a blip or part of something larger?
I think it's definitely part of a larger conversation. The backlash here really highlights that recurring problem. the perceived value of the physical stuff just doesn't line up with the high price tag.
Leading to disappointment.
Yeah, major disappointment. And that chips away at trust,
Yeah.
Makes people way more wary about pre-ordering the next big collector's edition. It really makes you ask, how long can these editions rely just on nostalgia before the actual quality or lack of it makes that perceived value totally collapse?
It really boils down to that intersection, doesn't it? Price, nostalgia, and the actual tangible quality of what you get. It's got to be there for these things to feel worth it.
Exactly. It's not just about owning the game early or having a steelbook. It's that physical symbol of your connection to the franchise.
So, a final thought for you listening.
Yeah, maybe think about this. In a market just flooded with pricey special editions, what actually makes something a collector's item for you? What qualities, what kind of item would make you feel genuinely rewarded for spending that extra money? What does value look like in this space?